My name is Samuel Figueroa, and I am the owner and attorney at law of the Figueroa Criminal Defense Group. I want to give my brief legal analysis of the ICE shooting that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota yesterday. Therefore, let's dive into what the law means, then we'll look at the video that's going viral, and then we'll draw an overall conclusion. So, first, remember, under Minnesota law, second degree murder, which I think will be the charge here against this man, has a penalty up to 40 years in prison. That is the max. And the definition is that the defendant had the intent to kill, meaning that he wanted to kill the victim, but it was without premeditation, which would be first degree murder. A higher charge, but harder to prove. And that's life in prison without parole or with parole. Basically, the key thing of premeditation is that basically the defendant thought about killing the victim before it happened. But second degree murder in this case is when the defendant does not have premeditation but wanted to kill the victim and did so. Lastly, for self-defense under Minnesota law, basically the defendant must show that he or she reasonably believed that he was under serious bodily harm or death, or he was trying to protect another person from incurring that harm. So, for example, in this particular case, the key thing that's going viral is that he killed her because the vehicle was going to cause him serious bodily injury or death. Is that cap? Let's find out. So let me turn on the TV. Let's go through the video and let's discuss it one step at a time. I found one in slow motion and one basically at regular speed. And lastly, a video off of Rooftop. Therefore, let's go in that order. So give me 1 second to turn this on. We'll apply the law and let's see what happens here. 1 second. Okay. I found a perfect slow motion video on TikTok. So let's talk about that one. All right. Let me give context as to why she's in the middle of the road. So the reason why she's in the middle of the road is because she was trying to block the ICE agents from going forward in the road. That's a misdemeanor obstruction charge. It's a big deal, but you know in video games how you have easy, medium, and hard? In criminal law, you have misdemeanors, which are basically down here. Gross misdemeanors as medium. And then you have felony land up here, hard mode. So basically, should be charged with a less serious crime, but still a crime. So just want to give context. So let's keep going. And those are the two ICE agents, by the way, who are trying to stop her from fleeing. So she reverses the vehicle. Now she's going forward. And as you can see, the ICE agent, basically the defendant in this case, is that guy behind the masked man right here. Behind him would be the man who killed her, and he's in front of the vehicle. She's facing him at this point. There's more to the video, but again, one step at a time. So because she's going towards the man, towards the ICE agent, at that moment, he may believe that he's under serious bodily harm or death. Therefore, he may justifiably use deadly force to prevent that threat from happening towards him or another. Let's keep going. Okay. If you see right there, he pulls out the gun. Right now, he's trying to use deadly force to eliminate the threat. But I want you to pay special attention to his entire body, but mainly his feet. Look at the feet. Because if I was the DA in this case, that is what I'll tell the jury. Look at his feet. You see how he's pretty much going out of the way of the vehicle? He's not in front anymore. He's to the side of the vehicle. So he's still by the driver's side door towards the front bumper, but he's not in front facing the vehicle anymore. So let's keep watching. You see both his feet, and that's before he shoots the gun. So remember, the individual must have a reasonable belief that he or she's under serious bodily injury or death at the time of the deadly force, I'm going to say. So as you can see, both of his feet are right here. He's no longer in front of the car. Let's keep watching. Boom. Hear that? Then he shoots her. So he commits the act of murder when he's at the side of the vehicle, no longer in harm's way. Furthermore, what's going to be important is that she's going less than 5 miles per hour. She's not going 40 or 50 miles per hour. She hits him with the car. That's still wrong, right? That's battery with a deadly weapon, right? It's a felony charge. But it will not cause him serious bodily harm or death. That's the standard. They must show that in order to apply self-defense to justifiably use deadly force. So the fact that he was on the side of the car, it's hard to hold water in that. Let's keep watching. You see, he's already at the side of the car. He shoots her a second time. He shoots her a third time. And as you can see, his entire body is totally out of the way now. There's no doubt that the second and third shot, he was out of the way of the vehicle. Therefore, that's going way too far. So, let's keep watching. Then she basically accelerates away, crashes into a car, and that's where she died. So let's look at the faster video because that's one that's going viral. So let's watch it real briefly. I really want to see the body cam in this particular case because the body cam will be able to reveal whether or not these two officers, this guy, and the actual defendant in this case, saw in the body cam whether or not she was going this way with the wheel. Because if she was going this way, going straight at the guy, then the argument can be, okay, he was, basically this woman was trying to kill me. But like I said, it looks like she was trying to drive away. And like I said, the body cam, which is their direction, right? We'll find out soon once that comes out. She was turning the wheel this way to flee, and he saw that, right? The tire moved. He was out of the way. Mainly, the number one thing is that he was out of the way before he shot her. Therefore, let's keep watching. Then she crashes, and that's where she gets, that's where she's dead. And that's what happened in that particular faster video. But the slow motion shows a better angle because of the fact that it's in slow motion. It shows that both his feet, his entire body was out of the way. And he could no longer justifiably use deadly force to eliminate the threat. And to top it all off, like I just said, she was going about 5 miles per hour. She wasn't going 40 or 50 to actually hit his body and cause serious bodily harm or death. Right? Because one thing about self-defense is that the force used against the other person must be proportional to the other person to repel the attack. So if Israel punches me in the face, I can get a gun and shoot him in the chest. I can push him away, I can punch him in the face, and that's equal in force, right? But if you use deadly force in a situation like that, that's going too far. A car going less than 5 miles per hour towards your direction, especially when your body is totally out of the way, then you kill the person with a gun, that is disproportional and it's not going to suffice in front of a jury. One thing that I have to show is a video, basically a rooftop video, but it's very grainy. So let's watch that real briefly. It's actually very short. Your shoulders look. Not that one. So you see her car there, the officer. Even then, look how grainy that is. You can barely see it. A lot of people are alleging that, hey, like that's where she hit the guy. But think about it. You're going to show that in front of a jury. You think they're going to believe that? I think the better shot would be this video in their body cam footage. The body cam footage, I think, will show more of what happened. Therefore, that's why when I give this analysis, this is the analysis before the witness statements come out, before I hear what they have to say, and before what the body cam will represent. Therefore, remember, they have to show intent to kill. Second-degree murder has a max penalty of 40 years in prison. First-degree murder has a max penalty of life in prison. And lastly, for self-defense, if the individual believes that he or she's under serious bodily harm or death, then they can use deadly force. But in this case, because he was out of the way before making the first shot, it's not going to suffice. Plus, even if he was in front of the vehicle, it's not going to suffice as well because it's disproportional to what she was doing. Less than 5 miles per hour, you know, again, it didn't hit him. Number one, doesn't show that. And even if it did, it's hard to say that murder equals a vehicle hitting you 5 miles an hour. So think about one more thing I want to mention is that think about where the jury is going to be. This is very big for attorneys who are listening. Think about where the jury is going to be. Every jurisdiction has their own juries, right? This happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So the Hennepin County DA's office and whoever the criminal defense attorney is going to be for this guy will be having their trial in Minneapolis. So 12 jurors in Minneapolis will find out whether or not this guy is guilty or not guilty. It's up to them. The judge will hand down the sentence, but the jury will give the verdict. So it's not 12 random jurors in Minnesota. It's not 12 random jurors in the US. It's 12 jurors in Minneapolis. So this is going to be a little political when I say this, but this is the truth. Is that with how angry people are in Minneapolis about the police in general, especially the ICE agents, I say good luck to this guy in getting a not guilty verdict, especially because self-defense is present, kind of, but it's kind of a loser case. But, we can see the body cam and that could change the entire analysis. Remember that. That's why I love body cam when it comes to my criminal cases, because I want to see the full scope of the story. Therefore, a parallel example to that could be a black person being charged with a crime in rural, sundown town, Alabama, right? Even though that black man might have defenses or no defenses, he's not going to get the best fair trial, the best fair and impartial jury in that sundown town because, again, the crime happened in that sundown town jurisdiction, right? So because the crime happened there, that's where the jury would be. So you think 12 impartial jurors will really decide fairly for that black man in that sundown town? So it's kind of the same thing with Minneapolis. It's not good to be a cop these days charged with a crime in Minneapolis. Again, let the law speak for itself. Let the facts speak for itself, like we discussed throughout this whole analysis. But overall, the jury pool matters, and I'd be surprised if this guy gets away with it. I'd be very, very surprised. But in the end, no matter what, we'll see what happens. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. I will cite the statutes to the description. Thank you so much. Have a great day.